And that's all ahead. But first up, breaking news on the story WUSA 9 has led the weigh-in covering. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Lorenzo Hall.
I'm Leslie Foster. Just around 9 o'clock tonight, we got some brand new information on the NFL's investigation into the workplace culture at the Washington Commanders. Now, sports director Darren Haynes was in New York on this story. This time last night, asking team owners the big question about whether Dan Snyder should sell the team.
Yeah, and just a few hours ago, Darren and the rest of the team leading our reporting on the Commanders' troubles did a streaming show on WUSA 9+. Adam Longo is part of that team. And Adam, you have some breaking new developments for us tonight.
Yeah, we've learned from Dan Snyder's attorney that this came as, frankly, a pretty big surprise, that the person hired by the NFL to investigate Dan Snyder back in February hasn't spoken to Dan Snyder yet. And that likely means we're still a ways off from any report or conclusion in that investigation. Now, let me back up for a second, frame this whole situation for you here. So in February, the NFL hired former SEC chair and former U.S. Attorney Mary Jo White to investigate allegations that Dan Snyder had sexually harassed a then Washington Redskins team employee. Now, White is tasked by the NFL with investigating and giving the league a written report when she's done. Now, the only thing that we know about this investigation is that White and her team have so far spoken to former team employees. And now we know, according to the Commanders' legal counsel, John Brownlee, that White hasn't talked to Snyder yet.
At some point, I'm assuming if she wants to talk to him, he'll cooperate, and he's pledged his cooperation there. I know that the records that they've asked for, we've produced. And so we'll continue to cooperate.
But there's no way there could be a complete investigation from Mary Jo White without her or her team talking to Dan Snyder, correct?
I wouldn't think so. But again, she kind of runs that.
So the next question now is, will the Mary Jo White investigation be done by the time NFL owners meet again in March in Florida? Because that could be the catalyst that leads to a discussion among those NFL owners as to whether or not it's time for Snyder to sell the team.
We're trying to keep all this straight. All this time we thought this investigation was probably winding down, and now it sounds like it's just ramping up. But there's still the congressional investigation looking into Dan Snyder. Where does that stand?
Yeah, I think we are likely to see resolution to that sometime in December, sometime before Congress starts its new term in January. And that's because while there's prognostication out there that Republicans could take over the House, and they have been on the record saying that they would end this investigation. So could we see criminal charges referred to the Department of Justice? I think that's doubtful. We will likely see a scathing report against the team. John Brownlee did also say of that Dan Snyder deposition towards Congress back in July, that 11-hour deposition, he wants the committee to release the transcript of that. They have so far not done that. And then there was a deposition of former team president Bruce Allen as well that happened in August. So we would love to see those transcripts and what was said. But I do expect to see resolution on that investigation sometime in December.
It sounds like those other team owners should be looking for this congressional investigation, the conclusion of that instead.
Asked Brownlee that question specifically, and he said he didn't think that was going to play a part in bearing on their judgment.
So many moving parts. Adam Longo, thank you.